On the 12th day of my Cold War with Lucas, he brought a woman from the upper circles to his birthday party. Someone teased, "Lucas, are you really done with your Charlotte? You chased her for 6 years, you know." Lucas, with a beautiful woman in his arms, sneered, "Girls from poor backgrounds like her love to dream. I just wove a beautiful dream for her. Let her taste the sweetness of love. After all, she's never been loved before. I just like how she's both insecure and proud. It's really interesting." Everyone laughed and drank. I stood outside the door, listening to him talk about me so casually. The birthday gift in my hand seemed to mock my stupidity. I turned and left in silence. If you can't hold on to sand, just let it go. Later, Lucas asked me if I had a heart. I said, "I don't." In the private room, Lucas and Isla were wrapped around each other, oblivious to the world. I stood outside the door, unable to describe how I felt. My days with Lucas were a cycle of breaking up and getting back together. Every time we had a fight, he would wait, high and mighty, for me to come back to him like a dog, wagging my tail, and he would trample on my dignity without a second thought. He became more and more outrageous, and I became more and more spineless. On the 12th day of our fight, he was openly flirting with another woman. It was because he knew today was his birthday, and I would definitely come, with a gift, to make up with him. Someone in the room teased, "Lucas, are you really done with your Charlotte? You chased her for 6 years, you know." Lucas, with Isla in his arms, took a drag from his cigarette and sneered, "A common Cinderella loves to dream. I just wove a beautiful dream for her. Let her taste the sweetness of love. After all, she's never been loved before, but she seems to really think she's someone special to me now." Everyone laughed. "Then why did you chase her for so long?" Lucas, "I was just unwilling to give up until I had her. I just like how she's both insecure and proud. It's really interesting." Isla's hand poked his chest. "What's so interesting about a virgin?" Lucas exhaled a puff of smoke and laughed. "You're right. Not that interesting. So uptight. Let her stay that way for the rest of her life. I can't be bothered anymore." A sharp, dense pain shot through my nerves. I suddenly felt a wave of disgust. As I turned to leave, all I felt was a numb disappointment. In the brightly lit night, I threw the birthday gift I had so carefully chosen for him into a trash can. If you can't hold on to sand, just let it go. On the crowded street, people came and went. Who was whose unrequited love, and who was whose insignificant other? I grew up amidst my parents' arguments and curses. After they divorced, my father would often bring different women home and make me call them mom. When I refused, he would beat me half to death. Later, he left me with my grandparents and never looked back. My grandparents hated my mother, and they hated me. My so-called grandfather even tried to molest me. I would often hide behind the house and cry all night. No one was good to me, and no one wished me well. I had always been a pessimist when it came to love. I never believed anyone could truly love me. So, when Lucas started pursuing me, I refused him without a second thought. But he chased me for 6 years. From my second year of high school to my graduation from university, no matter how coldly I rejected him, he would tirelessly say, "Whether you love me or not, I will always love you." I pushed him away again and again, to test his sincerity, but he was always there, never leaving. I thought he really loved me. Who doesn't want to be loved? 6 years. How many 6 years does a person have? I tried to open my heart and accept him, but just a week after we got together, he was already trying to get me into bed. I felt that we shouldn't do that until we were married, so I refused, but he didn't give up and was always trying to coax me. After being rejected so many times, he lost his patience and started giving me the cold shoulder, sometimes not speaking to me for days. In the 2 years we had been together, the balance of our relationship had quietly shifted. His feelings for me grew lighter, while mine grew heavier. They say that people who don't fall in love easily become mad when they do. I think I was that kind of person. I started to tolerate him without any boundaries, to please him in a more and more humble way. He became the dominant one in our relationship. Whenever I refused to sleep with him, he would do all sorts of outrageous things to anger me, like leaving me in the middle of a storm, like making crude jokes about me in front of his friends, making them look at me with disgust, like calling me in the middle of the night to pick him up, only to tell me to get lost when I arrived, like deliberately sending another girl a series of large red packets on holidays to spite me. And now, he had found Isla, someone from his upper circle, to humiliate me, the Cinderella. He hurt me without a second thought, and he enjoyed seeing me in pain. Whenever I cried, he would gently wipe away my tears, whisper an apology in my ear, and then, in a hoarse voice, ask, "Will you give it to me? If you do, I will love you forever." He was waiting for my last boundary to collapse. I wasn't against the idea of sleeping with him. Sometimes, when I was at my lowest, I would think, no one in this world could love me more than him. What was the big deal? But every time I was about to take that step, I would get scared. Scared of ending up with nothing, of making a fool of myself. Today, I had put on makeup and my prettiest clothes. I had overcome all my pessimism and was ready to give myself to him completely, and he had dealt me a heavy blow. It was all a lie. In his heart, I was so worthless. Seeing me shed my useless pride, completely consumed by insecurity, groveling at his feet, would bring him immense pleasure. I laughed out loud. The tears suddenly poured out. In my bland, tasteless life, someone had gone to such great lengths to force their way in. Looking back, my repeated forgiveness seemed so ironic. When I said we shouldn't sleep together until we were married, he had never once mentioned marriage. How laughable. And I had been trapped in his fake love, unable to escape. I had been a fool all along. In this world, even my own parents didn't love me. How could anyone else truly love me? At least I found out before it was too late. My life was already a mess. This was just going back to the beginning. What was there to be so upset about? But that indescribable, heavy feeling still clung to me like a demon. I was not a machine without feelings. 8 years, even a dog, if it were to suddenly disappear from my life, I would feel a sense of loss, wouldn't I? Passing a dessert shop, I wiped my tears and went in to buy a piece of cake and a cup of milk tea. They say sweets can make you happy. I took a bite of the cake and a sip of the tea. The sweetness spread through my brain, but all I could think of were my memories with him. They were the happiest times of my life. Tears fell on my hand, and I realized I was crying again. It was all a lie. Why did eating something sweet make me even sadder? I fought back the tears and took big bites. I was so upset that I didn't see the person in front of me and bumped right into them, spilling my milk tea all over them. I apologized frantically, and everything in my hands fell to the ground. I scrambled to pick them up, but the cake was ruined. It was dirty. I couldn't eat it anymore, just like my shattered, irreparable feelings. The tears I had been holding back welled up in my eyes, and my throat was tight. I couldn't convince myself it didn't matter. It hurt so much. I buried my face in my knees and let the tears flow. I didn't even yell at you. Why are you crying? A man's voice sounded in front of me. I looked up through my tears and saw Gideon, Lucas' best friend. His arm was resting on his knee, the city lights reflecting off his watch. He was squatting in front of me, looking at me calmly. Are you okay? His words seemed to echo from a long time ago, like in my second year of high school, when my grandfather had appeared by my bed in the middle of the night, and I had run out of the house in a panic, only to collapse at a crossroads. Lucas had also squatted in front of me like this and asked, "Are you okay?" Time rewound, and the grievances grew stronger. Why was it all a lie? The tears fell even harder. Gideon watched me for a while, then helped me up. "It's just cake and milk tea. I'll buy you more." He picked up the ruined cake and threw it in a trash can, then led me to his car. "Wait here." He closed the door and went to a nearby dessert shop. The city's lights flickered through the car window, but they couldn't illuminate the dark interior. Just like my heart, a stagnant pool of water, with no cure in sight. Gideon soon returned with cakes and milk teas, a whole variety of them, and put them in my arms. "I'll take you home." At the last party, Lucas kept looking at the door, his mood growing more and more irritable. He would pick up his phone, then throw it down again. He smoked a whole pack of cigarettes and drank bottle after bottle of wine. Everyone was waiting for Charlotte to make a scene, including Lucas. He had even posted his location on his social media, but Charlotte never came through the door. His friends were getting annoyed. Even Lucas was getting restless. He thought he was being so pathetic. He could have any woman he wanted. Why was he so obsessed with her? Why her? Just then, the door opened. He looked up eagerly. It was just a waiter with more drinks. He slumped back into the sofa, defeated. He pushed Isla, who had been clinging to him, away and lit another cigarette. Isla tried to get close to him again, but he shoved her away. "Get lost." Her eyes filled with tears. "I said get lost. Can't you hear me?" Her tears finally fell, and she stood up and left, hurt. The room fell silent. After a while, someone tried to break the tension with a forced laugh. "Lucas, you're so impatient. Charlotte is your sycophant now. What are you afraid of?" Everyone laughed. "Exactly. Lucas is still wearing the hair tie she made him wear, and the food he eats every day has to be cooked by her, and she knows all his passwords. She's always checking his accounts to see if he's cheating. Just you wait. She won't last the night. She'll be calling him, crying." In the middle of the night, Lucas' fingers gently stroked the small leather band on his wrist, and he felt a little better. The last few times he had pushed her, she had almost given in. He could feel her wavering. That's why he had brought out the big guns with Isla today. He thought that maybe tonight, she would finally, willingly, give herself to him completely. The thought of her gentle, beautiful face made him a little excited. He wondered what she would be like when he was teasing her. Would she cry? Would she be silent? Or, Lucas, I think you still care about her a lot. If you're so serious, just marry her. After you're married, you can do whatever you want. Are you stupid? Her status isn't good enough for him. He won't marry her. His family is already arranging a marriage for him. Really, Lucas, Lucas, he didn't answer. Just as they were about to say more, he stood up and left. He couldn't wait. He had to have her tonight. I sat by the window in the living room. In the dark, the city lights were slowly dimming. The cakes in the bag were a mess, and the milk teas were scattered on the floor. The person I had fallen for was with someone else. Would he whisper sweet nothings in her ear too? Would he easily promise her forever? In the dark room, I let my emotions wash over me. I thought, my sadness is not pathetic. Who doesn't feel sad after truly loving someone? At 2:30 a.m., Lucas' driver pulled up downstairs. The night was quiet. Every sound was amplified. He loosened his tie, his mouth dry. He got out and went upstairs. But when he entered the password, it was wrong. Again and again, he kicked the door in frustration and started ringing the doorbell. When I heard the noise, I didn't react much. I knew it was him. I thought he would leave if no one answered, but my phone started ringing. Over and over. He must have heard the music from inside. He started banging on the door. I stared at the name on the screen for a long time. I didn't want to disturb the neighbors, so I answered. His voice was hoarse from the alcohol. Honey, I was wrong. Let's not fight anymore. Okay, it's my birthday, and you didn't even come. I was waiting for you, but it's okay. If you won't come to me, I'll come to you. I can have nothing, but I can't be without you. I listened to his lies with a numb expression, saying nothing. Tomorrow, let's go and get our marriage license. Okay, I want you to have my children. I miss you so much. Please don't be angry. Let me in, please. Hearing this, I sneered. How could he say those things to me after what he had said earlier? Lucas, let's break up. There was a moment of silence. What did you say? He asked, in disbelief, perhaps because of the emotional turmoil. My head started to hurt. I closed my eyes and repeated, Lucas, let's break up. I'm so good to you, and you want to break up with me. Charlotte, do you have a conscience? Thank you for all these years. Let's not contact each other again. My nose tingled. Even though he wasn't sincere, he had been with me for the longest time, had been the best to me, but in this world, too many people betray love. Our story was destined to have no ending. You know I've been with you for so many years. Can you really bear to leave me? Is there anyone in this world who loves you more than I do? Honey, no one else will wait for you. Be with you, as patiently as I have. Let's not break up, please. He was still so good at this, as if he loved me so deeply, as if no one could replace him. I used to think so too, but now, I just found it laughable. Lucas, there's no point in talking anymore. Let's just end it. Are you really breaking up with me? His voice turned cold. Yes, so you can't be coaxed. I don't need you to coax me. You should go. What the hell do you want? I've already done so much, and you're still not satisfied. Charlotte, do you really think you're so important? Have I been too good to you? Have you forgotten who you are? No wonder your parents abandoned you. No wonder your grandparents hated you. No wonder no one loves you. You really don't know what's good for you. The person who knows you best knows where to stick the knife. His words were a series of stabs to the heart, as if I were the one who had betrayed him, as if I had done something unforgivable to hurt him. I didn't say any more and hung up. He was furious. He slammed the door and left, sneering. He got in the car but didn't tell the driver to go. He lit a cigarette. He had planned to sleep with her tonight and then break up with her. He was getting tired of her anyway, and he had never planned on marrying her. He could do anything for her, but marriage, her status was not good enough. But tonight, he hadn't gotten what he wanted, and she had broken up with him first. He felt a fire burning in his chest. He stubbed out the cigarette before it was even half finished. He had so many women around him. He could have anyone he wanted, but her. She didn't play by his rules. She was cold, hard to move. You had to be patient, to slowly win her trust. At first, it was just a challenge. He couldn't believe he couldn't win her over, and that was 8 years ago. At this moment, he couldn't tell if it was just a challenge or if he had actually fallen for her. All he felt was an unquenchable anger. Why did she leave him? Why? He threw the cigarette away, took out his phone, and made a call. Make her suffer a little at her company. he thought. Maybe she had had it too easy with him. She had forgotten the hardships she had faced before. He would remind her. Then she would understand how lucky she was to have him. The next day, I ran into Isla at the office. She was an intern, but she had a lot of power. Everyone said she had connections, but no one knew how deep they went. I had only found out yesterday that she and Lucas were in the same circle. "Charlotte, good morning." She greeted me cheerfully, as usual, but her eyes held a hint of contempt. I didn't pay it any mind and just replied, "Good morning." She caught up with me. "Thank you for helping me with my work yesterday. Let me buy you lunch today." Yesterday, she had begged me to finish her work for her, saying she was in a hurry to celebrate her boyfriend's birthday. I had helped her. I never thought her boyfriend would be my boyfriend. I didn't want to talk to her and just said, "No, thank you." "Oh, come on, we're friends. Let's just have a meal together." I stopped and looked at her coldly. "No, thank you. I don't know you very well. We've known each other for so long. Aren't we friends?" "No." With that, I walked away. Isla seemed to have been insulted. She sneered. "Besides acting all high and mighty, what else can you do? Everyone knows your grandfather played with you. What are you pretending for? Lucas thinks you're dirty. He calls you Cinderella. Do you still think you're so important? If I were you, I'd be too ashamed to live." Those old, painful memories. Lucas had been so sympathetic, so sad that he hadn't been in my life sooner. Now, they were just gossip for them. The sad thing was, I couldn't even refute her. I couldn't prove the rumors were false, and even if I could, no one would believe me. Isla had connections. She was beautiful, and she had friends in the company. Many of the male colleagues were her admirers, and the female colleagues liked to flatter her. Between us, it was clear who they would believe, and I would just have to endure their ridicule. It didn't matter. I had seen enough of the world's coldness. This was nothing new. I said to her lightly, "You're acting like a mad dog this early in the morning. Did Lucas dump you?" My words hit a nerve. Her face contorted with rage. "Who do you think you are? Do you really think you're so important to him? You're so shameless, saying you won't sleep with him until you're married. He would never marry a dirty thing like you. You just pretend to be pure, but you're rotten to the core." I didn't get angry. The one who loses their temper first, loses. I smiled, my voice still indifferent. "Yes, he loves someone like me and not you. You're so pathetic. You probably don't know, but he came to see me last night, drunk. Isn't he pathetic? He doesn't want a noble, clean lady like you. He wants me, a pathetic man like him. I'm giving him to you, and you can't even hold on to him. You're so useless. You can't capture a man's heart. So you come and bite me. So embarrassing. If I were you, I'd be too ashamed to provoke anyone." Saying these words, I felt a sense of satisfaction, but my heart ached. I didn't want to have such a tasteless argument with someone in public, but in the end, others wouldn't let me be. Isla was so angry she was trembling. I turned and left without another word. I knew she wouldn't let it go, but I didn't expect the storm to come so quickly. As soon as I entered the office, everyone was looking at me with a mixture of curiosity and mockery. I sat down and turned on my computer. A new email had arrived in both my company and personal inboxes. The company email contained a series of photos of me. They were as disgusting as a pornographic film. The faces in the photos were my grandfather's and mine. They were AI-generated fakes. The sender was Isla. The world doesn't care if the photos are real or fake. They just want to believe that's my dirty past. A young, beautiful, educated, and capable woman. How can she be so perfect? Oh, so her past is so dirty. Only that can satisfy their jealousy and sense of unfairness. Then they can hypocritically say, "She's so pitiful." I'd rather be ugly and ordinary. All I could do was be silent. But is silence really useful? I opened my personal email. The file inside made me freeze. After a long moment, I replied, "Thank you." The reply was instantaneous. "You're welcome." Time overlapped again, as if that year, I had woken up in the hospital and seen Lucas by my bed. At that moment, 1,000 words were just a single thank you, and he had also just said, "You're welcome." My numb heart suddenly ached. Everything in the past was gone, and yet, just because someone was a little like him, my heart would still ache with a dull pain. My eyes blurred, and I looked up, forcing back the tears. Tears are the victor's spoils, and I didn't want to surrender. I started typing on my computer. They probably thought I would just be silent, so they didn't even bother to lower their voices. She's usually so quiet, doesn't interact with anyone. Is she afraid people will find out about her past? Even if she's afraid, people will still find out. I have a classmate who was her high school classmate. I heard her family situation is a mess, especially with her and her grandfather. She also used to hang out with the school's hooligans. Her private life is a mess. She looks so pure. I didn't expect her to be so dirty. I heard her boyfriend is handsome and rich. Why did he fall for her? He was probably fooled by her pure appearance. A woman who's been played with by so many people. Why does she deserve an outstanding man? Is she even worthy? The complexity of human nature was on full display. When you're at your lowest, everyone will stand on a high platform and judge you. They'll hide the ladder that could save you and watch you crawl in the abyss. When you can't get up, they'll justifiably accuse you, curse you, mock you. No one cares why you can't get up. Since no one cares about the truth, why should I try to prove myself? I clicked the mouse, the final step complete. A few seconds later, the office exploded. The woman in this email isn't Charlotte. It's Isla. How can that be? I just saw it was Charlotte. Look, Isla is just the daughter of the Luo family's nanny. And look at these photos. It's Isla's medical records from the obstetrics and gynecology department. She's had so many abortions. My God. There are even records of her checking into hotels with different men. She's so wild. In an instant, I was forgotten. Everyone's attention was on Isla. The very people who had been defending her were now her judges. No one cared about the truth, or her mental state. I didn't need to prove myself. I just needed to let someone else become the focus. Isla, her eyes red, rushed towards me, her hand raised to strike. I stood up, caught her wrist, and threw her off. I grew up in the mud. Am not a delicate young lady. Am strong. The throw sent her flying into the opposite cubicle. Coincidentally, the person in that cubicle was sending messages to his friends. The chat window was full of Isla's indecent photos. The group chat was filled with lewd comments about her body. Isla exploded. She grabbed the phone and smashed it, then slapped the man across the face. Then she tried to claw out his eyes. I'll let you look. I'll let you look. A fat pig like you. Are you even worthy of looking at me? The man was no pushover. He picked up a chair and threw it at her. You bitch. Who do you think you are? My family had to beg my dad to get you into this company with your fake degree. A few compliments. And you think you're so special? Do you think you're so much better than Charlotte? Your background is nothing in our circle. You're more of a clown than she is. At least she's quiet. You're a mess. And you're trying to drag others down with you. I'm not worthy of looking at your photos. I'm going to look today. He started to tear at her clothes. Many people were watching, but no one intervened. Isla, the noble princess, had fallen into the mud. A pathetic sight. I walked away, numb and indifferent. This dog-eat-dog drama was so boring. I had to find a new job. So annoying, but not as annoying as staying here. By the time I drove away, the morning rush hour was over. I didn't go home. I just drove aimlessly through the empty city. Since I had started working, I had rarely had a moment's rest. Today, I was completely free. Unconsciously, I had driven to another city. This was the past I hated, the place I had desperately tried to escape, someone else's hometown. But my hell, when I realized where I was, I saw the gate of my old high school. The tall, iconic sycamore tree was still there, its leaves rustling in the hot summer wind. The stationery stores, the snack shops, they were all still there. Students in uniforms were walking towards the school. It was graduation season again. Whose youth was without regret, and whose was full of it? A distant melody reached my ears. Allow me to settle like dust, to bury the past in silence. I came from the sea, weathered by storms, to hide in this desert. It was as if a huge force was pulling me back to the distant past. The memories of Lucas came flooding back. My parents divorced when I was in elementary school. My grandparents hated me but kept me out of a sense of duty. My grandfather would sometimes show me kindness, holding my hand and telling me to be good. At the time, I couldn't read the lecherous look in his eyes. I just wanted to please him, hoping he would like me, but his actions became more and more inappropriate. I didn't like the feeling and started to avoid him. In high school, I chose to live in the dorms and rarely went home. I had hoped to grow up quickly and escape the filth. I thought that after 3 years, my life would start a new chapter. But those 3 years were not easy. My grandfather would often come to pick me up from school. People started talking about my family. Rumors spread throughout the school. Everyone knew my parents were divorced. Everyone said I was my grandfather's plaything. Some even joked about how many abortions I had had. Gradually, I became the person everyone could bully. What I wore, what I ate, even my hairstyle, became a joke. The school's hooligans would ask me, in front of the whole class, how much for a night, that he wanted to book me for a month. When we were assigned seats, my deskmate would deliberately switch with a hooligan. The class president would deliberately put me in a group with a hooligan. The teachers turned a blind eye. It was the darkest time of my life. I even thought about killing myself. I had thought about just enduring it. But every time I tried to pull myself together, the filth of human nature would destroy my will, and Lucas had appeared when I was on the brink of death. That day, my father had forced me to come home. He was my father. When he dragged me into the car, no one dared to intervene. He had brought another woman home. He made me call her mom. I refused. He was so angry he grabbed a whip to beat me. The woman shielded me, and the whip landed on her back. Her voice was gentle. She told me not to be afraid. Then she snatched the whip from my father's hand and gave me something. Don't be afraid, Charlotte. I won't let him hit you. It was a bag of cake and milk tea. I had never had cake or milk tea before. The sweet smell made my tears fall. No one had ever spoken to me so gently. If only I had a mother. She wiped my tears and put a straw in the mango pomelo sago, holding it to my lips. It's delicious. Try it. Her eyes were so kind, as if she really loved me for who I was. I finally gave in and took a sip. I thought, even if she was my stepmother, if she could take me away, it would be a million times better than my current life. But that night, I felt weak. I woke from a nightmare to a thunderstorm. My grandfather's leering, hideous face was illuminated by the flashing lightning. I realized the milk tea had been drugged. My eyes burned. I was a fool to believe that woman could be kind to me. What kind of good person would be with my father? Fortunately, I had only had one sip. The moment my grandfather lunged at me, I grabbed the pepper spray I kept by my bed and sprayed it in his eyes. As he screamed and clutched his face, I grabbed the thermos and poured the boiling water on his lower body. His pig-like squeals filled the room. My grandmother rushed in, and I pushed her aside and ran. As I fled, my limbs started to tremble uncontrollably. I was afraid someone would chase me, that someone would block my path. I don't know how long I ran. I only remember falling at a crossroads. My face hit the ground, and my head was spinning. I couldn't get up. A pair of shoes appeared in front of me. My heart leaped into my throat. I tried to get up, but I couldn't. Lucas squatted in front of me, looking at my disheveled state with confusion. Are you okay? It wasn't my grandfather. It wasn't my father. In that moment, it was as if a drowning person had found a piece of driftwood. All my emotions burst forth. I couldn't speak, just cried. He helped me up, put his coat over me, and took me to the hospital. He comforted me gently, showing me his student ID and ID card to prove he wasn't a bad person. At that moment, he was a warm son to me. The noise of the present pulled me back. The memories receded. The car was parked. I leaned my head on the steering wheel, exhausted. My phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from the alumni group chat. The usually quiet group had over 99 new messages. I opened it. Lucas was sending out red packets. Someone had tagged me. Charlotte, are you and Lucas getting married? Congratulations. A soulmate has finally found his match. Be happy. Someone else teased. I never thought he would be so devoted. Indeed, he looks like a player, but he's so loyal. Ha 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 ha. Charlotte, say something. Lucas, she's angry with me. She's ignoring me. Wants to break up with me. Then go and coax her. Lucas, teach me how. Am not good at it. Aren't you the king of sycophants? Why are you asking us? Lucas, me. Honey, don't be angry with me. Okay, don't leave me. If only things could go back to the way they were. If only there were if-onlys. But now, everything had changed. We couldn't go back. I calmly typed a line. Lucas and I have broken up. Then I left the group chat and all other related chats. Almost immediately, his call came through. I hung up and blocked all his contact information. The world was finally quiet. I looked out at the world, numb and indifferent. I stayed in the parking lot all day. When the city lights came on, I found an old shop and ordered a bowl of rice noodles. The steam blurred my vision. After walking such a long and difficult road, I still wasn't used to being alone. Is he that important? A clear male voice came, and Gideon sat down across from me. I looked up, and a tear fell into my bowl. I awkwardly turned away. What are you doing here? He smiled. Is Lucas that important to you? I was taken aback. I nodded, then shook my head. How could he not be? But no matter how important, I had to let him go. Was he good to you? He asked again. I thought for a moment. He was all right. At least, from my perspective, he was the best person to me. Do you know the fastest way to forget someone? I poked at my noodles. What? Start a new relationship. I don't want to be in a relationship anymore. It's too tiring. Then get married. Who would marry me? I will. I was stunned and looked up at him. He was looking at me seriously. It took me a moment to process what he had said. We don't know each other well. Gideon. He took a sip of water and smiled. You ate the cake I bought, drank the milk tea I bought, used the email I sent you. And now you're telling me we don't know each other well. No wonder Lucas says you're cold-hearted. Only then did I remember that the email about Isla was from him. I was a little embarrassed. Thank you for helping me. You're welcome. You're quite the computer expert. You replaced the email perfectly. You've been watching Isla for a long time. She's been around him for a long time. You just didn't know. I nodded and started eating my noodles. Though I was unhappy, I understood that what can be stolen doesn't belong to you in the first place. Even without Isla, it would have been someone else. It was only a matter of time. As I ate, I asked casually, "Don't tell me you did all this for me." He didn't dodge. He met my eyes. If I said yes, would you believe me? I didn't blink. No. He laughed and took a file from the side, handing it to me. "Are these conditions enough for you to marry me?" I didn't take it. I refused directly. "Marriage is not a necessity for me. And I don't like you." He put the file in my hand. "Marry me. If I ask for a divorce, you'll leave with nothing. If you ask for a divorce, you get 50 of my personal assets. No one will dare to bully you again. You can use me forever, as your shield. Marriage is not a necessity for you, so treat it as an option. Let me be one of your options. Charlotte, you have nothing to lose." I listlessly flipped through the prenuptial agreement. "Gideon, do you take me for a fool? Good things don't just fall from the sky. This makes you look like a scammer." I closed the file and threw it back at him. "I'm not interested in marrying you." I started to dismiss him. "You should go." But he didn't move. "You've made Isla miserable. She won't let it go. And Lucas won't let you live in peace." I frowned. I had just managed to get a foothold in the capital. I had just bought a house, and I still had a mortgage. I couldn't be as impulsive as them, selling and leaving whenever I wanted. I didn't have the capital to start over. Isla's photos were already all over the internet. She wouldn't go after anyone else. She would only come after me. Even if I called the police, they could only detain her for a day, not a lifetime. I would be trapped in a vicious cycle. And him, he could dump me when he was tired of me, but I couldn't dump him. He would use every means to disgust me. As long as they were alive, I would never have a peaceful day. Marrying Gideon seemed like a good choice, but it made me uncomfortable. He continued, "Even if we get a divorce in the future, I will have someone protect you for the rest of your life." He reached out and gently stroked my cheek, his thumb caressing my lips. "This is a legally binding document, even if it's a scam. I only want to scam your heart." I grabbed his hand. "Don't." He held my hand back. "Don't what?" "Gideon, I'm here. I don't have a heart anymore. So what are you afraid of?" Yes, I had no heart. What was I afraid of? Instead of living in their torment, why not live in the love he was weaving for me? Even if it was fake, it could bring me a moment of peace. When the marriage certificate was in my hand, I was in a daze. The summer wind rustled through the leaves of the sycamore trees. The sunlight on the red certificate felt like the shackles of fate. I didn't know what the future held. I just wanted a moment of peace. He took my hand, and we walked slowly through the quiet afternoon streets. Like that year he had walked me out of the hospital, back to school, slow and unreal. In that moment, my memories flickered. A beam of light from the distant past pierced my heart, and the memories turned to black and white. No one shone in my memory anymore. My youth had no story. My nose tingled. I didn't know why I was sad. It was just that in that moment, I couldn't let go of the past. Just then, his phone rang. It was from the office. He answered, spoke a few words, and hung up. "I have to go back to the office. It's urgent." I nodded. "You go. I'll be on my way." He looked at me for a long time, then kissed me fiercely. After a long moment, he let go, his forehead against mine. "You want me to go that badly?" I lowered my eyes. "Don't you have to go? Come with me." "No." He laughed softly, his voice hoarse. "Then go home and wait for me. Tonight, I'm exercising my spousal rights." I dodged his breath, a little flustered. After Charlotte had said they were broken up and blocked him, Lucas had started a one-sided cold war with her. He knew her. 8 years of companionship. He was in her blood. She would never be able to leave him. He had completely cut off contact with her. He thought that only by truly losing him would she understand his importance. But a week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months passed. There was no movement from her. He grew more and more irritable, his temper getting worse. He couldn't think of her. The more he thought, the more he felt like he was going crazy. He had spent 6 years to get into her heart, to make her his girlfriend. She didn't want him to touch her, and he had endured for 2 years. Once, he had torn off all her clothes, so close to having her, but she had cried. At that moment, if he had just gone through with it, she would have been completely his. But seeing her tears, his heart had ached. In that moment, he had felt like a complete bastard. For the first time, He hadn't eaten the meat that was already in his mouth. He had dressed her and stupidly held her while they watched a TV show all night. His friends had laughed at him for a whole year. Although he often angered her, he also truly loved her. How could she hurt his heart like this? When the car stopped downstairs from her apartment, the city was just getting dark. He suppressed his emotions and got out. In that moment, he wanted her, even if it meant marrying her. His hurried steps stopped at her door. He raised his hand to bang on it, but then stopped, as if he had gone back to the beginning, when he was chasing her. So careful, so at a loss. No matter what she did to him, he would shamelessly wag his tail for her. I didn't move into the marital home he had bought, but he would always come home with me. For the past 2 months, he would wake up early every day to make me breakfast. In the evening, if he wasn't working late, he would take me to the supermarket to buy groceries, and we would cook together. Occasionally, when he was busy, he would work from home. I would be in the kitchen, and when I turned around, I could see his serious side profile as he worked in the living room. My concept of home had taken a concrete form in these 2 months. He was very respectful of me, although he always said he wanted to exercise his spousal rights. He hadn't really touched me in these 2 months. He took me to the hospital, and I learned that my fear of intimacy had nothing to do with whether we were married or not. It was a psychological scar from my youth. He took what the doctor said more seriously than I did. He was always patient and gentle with me, even when he was on the verge of losing control. If I showed the slightest resistance, he would stop immediately. I often felt that he loved me very much, but I didn't know what he loved about me. The way he looked at me always made my heart flutter, and I didn't dare to meet his eyes. He was like a starving beast, ready to devour me at any opportunity. Today was no different. He started kissing me in the elevator. With one hand, he held the groceries, and with the other, he held the back of my head. His kisses wild and fierce. The elevator doors opened with a ding. He kissed me as we walked out. The rustling of the plastic grocery bags, our ragged breaths, and our stumbling footsteps mixed together, creating a scene that was hard to look at. I didn't even notice Lucas approaching until the smell of smoke hit my nose, followed by his voice. "Charlotte." I was startled and tried to push Gideon away, but he just held my head against his chest. The desire in his eyes hadn't faded as he looked at Lucas nonchalantly. Lucas' anger was instantly ignited, perhaps because he was so angry. His voice was filled with an infinite disappointment and pain. "Charlotte, when we were together, you would even dodge my kisses. Now you're so eager in an elevator. 8 years, not 8 days. What am I to you? Lucas, is your heart made of stone? Do you think I won't get hurt?" Charlotte, he still didn't think he was in the wrong. Perhaps, in his eyes, I was never good enough. So, I should be grateful for everything he did, even when he hurt me, because to be noticed by him was my good fortune. I buried my head in Gideon's chest, not moving, just said calmly, "Lucas, there's no point in talking anymore. Let's just end it here." His emotions finally broke. He tried to pull me away but was pushed aside by Gideon. Only then did he see Gideon's face. He pointed at him, his hand trembling. "It's you." He stood up and threw a punch. "I thought of you as a brother, and you slept with my woman." Gideon blocked the punch and pushed him away. "She's timid. Don't scare her. Find a place. I'll fight you." Lucas gritted his teeth. "Fine, you have guts." Gideon pulled me out of his embrace, picked up the bag of groceries, opened the door, and kissed my forehead. "Wait for me at home." He pushed me inside and closed the door. In the instant the door closed, I saw Lucas' red eyes, as if he loved me so deeply. Maybe he did love me. After all, no one would spend 8 years with someone for no reason. But now, how much of that love was left? It was just that his toy had been snatched away. He was just unwilling to accept it. In a deserted suburb, as soon as they got out of the car, Lucas' fist flew towards Gideon. "Are you even human? You'd sleep with your own brother's woman." He was completely mad, his punches fast and furious. Gideon couldn't dodge them all and took a few hits. When Lucas was tired, Gideon began his counterattack. "Whose brother are you? Is your home-wrecking mother even worthy of being compared to my mother? And is she your woman? No wonder your mother likes to be the third party. It feels good, doesn't it? Your 8 years of companionship can't compare to a piece of candy I gave her when she was at her lowest. The woman you couldn't get in 8 years, I got her in 2 months. And you, Lucas, you've long since been forgotten. She even thinks she never had a single ounce of sincerity in those 8 years." Lucas' veins bulged. "Shut up." They were about the same size, so neither had an advantage in a fight. Soon, they were both bruised, but Gideon was still triumphant, though his eyes were cold. "Lucas, you've inherited your mother's promiscuity completely. When I found out you hadn't gotten her in 8 years, I knew you were serious, and you didn't even know it, so you're just a joke. Just like your mother made my mother a joke. Lucas' face was ashen, unable to say a word, wishing he could tear Gideon to pieces. He gritted his teeth, every blow a killing one. I thought I was good to you, Gideon. I never thought you were such a despicable person. What did she do wrong? Why are you using her like this? Don't you know you'll ruin her? Gideon laughed as he fought back. When you were hurting her, did you ever think you would ruin her? The betrayal you're feeling now is the same as the betrayal she felt from you and Isla. Do you think she'll ever forgive you? She doesn't want you anymore. Lucas, he roared and punched Gideon in the face. It was a blow with all his strength. After that, he staggered and fell to his knees, his face contorted. Gideon, you're an animal. Gideon wiped the blood from his mouth. Compared to your mother, I'm still an amateur. He turned to leave, then stopped. He said, with his back to him, Charlotte was with you because she thought you really loved her, not because she loved you. So, whoever loves her, she will go with. You, Lucas, you're not that important to her. Gideon told me to wait for him. I didn't. I went to bed early, but I would wake up from time to time. When I woke up again, it was to my phone ringing. It was an unknown number. I hesitated for a few seconds, then answered. As soon as I did, I heard his crazed laughter. You don't have to wait for him. I killed him. I frowned. Saying nothing, he continued. Do you know who he is? He's my half-brother. You think he's with you because he loves you. He's just using you to get back at my mother. At me. He doesn't love you at all, Charlotte. Besides me, who would love you? Come back to me. I'm the only one who truly loves you. There was too much information. I couldn't process it all. He was his half-brother. So, my heart ached with a dull pain. The pain was faint, but it lingered. Everything suddenly made sense. I was relieved. This was more in line with my life. How could anyone love me for no reason? I had probably never really believed it. So now, I wasn't that sad. I just replied, with a mixture of indifference and mockery. And then, you'll marry me. He wouldn't marry you either. Whoever I like. He'll try to steal from me, until one of us is destroyed. The word either was very subtle. In this moment of madness, he had finally spoken the truth. He wouldn't marry me, and he had never planned to. I laughed softly. But he has already married me. The other end fell silent. After a long time, he spoke. Charlotte, do you have a heart? I answered calmly, I don't. With that, I hung up. Just as I hung up, an email came in. It was a recording from him. I opened it. It was what Gideon had said to him when they were fighting. In the quiet room, his words were so clear, so loud, they were deafening. I didn't even notice when Gideon came in, until he sat in front of me and wiped away a tear that had fallen. Only then did I realize he was there. I turned away, avoiding his touch. Gideon, before I could finish, he cupped my face and kissed me deeply. His face was bruised, but it just made him look more wild. He kissed me fiercely. After a long time, he rested his forehead against mine. Lucas' mother was my mother's patient. Because her condition was difficult and she had no money, my mother took good care of her. To support my mother, my father provided a public fund for the hospital. To treat that woman for free, and that woman, under the guise of gratitude, seduced my father, which led to the breakdown of my parents' marriage. My mother fell into a depression, but that woman would still come and provoke her, causing her to die in misery. His eyes were red, tears welling up. Charlotte, I admit, there was an element of revenge in getting together with you. My heart was not pure, but I also genuinely want to be with you. He is not right for you. If you choose to divorce me, I will respect your choice. I looked at him. He was in so much pain, as if he would shatter at any moment. He was like another me, constantly healing in a broken life. I reached out and gently wiped the tears from his eyes. Gideon, have you ever had an unrequited love? He took my hand and kissed it. No. I lowered my eyes, neither happy nor sad. After a moment, I squeezed his hand. Gideon, let's be each other's support. In that moment, my heart finally felt as if it had found a home. His impurity, his imperfection, made everything real. He lifted my chin. Charlotte, once you've said it, you can't go back. I smiled. I'm not going back now, but that doesn't mean in the future. He kissed me again before I could finish. This time, he showed no mercy, and he didn't stop. His voice floated around me. Today, no matter how much you cry, I'm exercising my spousal rights. You're injured. Think of it as adding to the mood. Gideon, call me husband. The autumn wind blew through the window, scattering the moonlight on the floor. I had someone to be with. I didn't know how long our future would be, but I wanted to walk this path with him. a dream full of flowers, a reality of broken pieces, but he was really by my side. Let's just walk forward, until we can no longer look back, until our souls can no longer heal themselves. Lucas epilogue. At first, he didn't believe she had married Gideon, until she showed him the marriage certificate. He stared at it, his mind blank. He never thought Gideon would actually marry her. Gideon was so ambitious. He didn't just want to destroy him, he wanted to destroy his entire family. How could he choose to marry her? And she, so at ease by his side, as if their 8 years together had left no mark on her heart. The way she looked at him was so cold, so heartless, but he still asked her, pathetically, "Gideon said you never loved me. Is that true?" She looked at him with eyes as bland as water. "Lucas, did I ever love you? Can't you feel it? Why do you have to ask?" In that moment, looking at the small leather band on his wrist, his eyes burned. He suddenly laughed out loud. She knew all his passwords and would check his accounts to see if he was cheating. She would cook for him and bring it to his office. She would cry when she saw him with another woman. How could she not love him? He was the one who had destroyed her love. Bit by bit, he had turned the hope in her eyes to ash. The realization was a pain so intense it was unbearable. He had always thought of himself as a player, someone who could never be hurt by love, but in that moment, the tearing pain in his heart almost suffocated him. He walked aimlessly through the deserted streets. Another late autumn, the cold wind blew, and the leaves fell. A song played from a nearby shop. The heart that wanted to grow old with you is gone. You said not to create your own sorrow. Anyone can completely forget anyone. You only know the weight of love after you've loved, the strength of wine after you're drunk, and after it's over. Only then did he understand what he had lost. In a lifetime, you only get one pure, devoted love. He had given his to her, and she had given hers to him, but they hadn't reached the end. Every night, he would be consumed by regret. If he had married her sooner, if he hadn't done all those stupid things, if he had known sooner that he had truly fallen for her, would Gideon have ever had a chance? But there were no if-onlys. He could only live in an endless cycle of relief and regret, drifting through life. Charlotte's epilogue. In the days that followed, as Gideon had said, no one bothered me. I rarely saw Lucas. I heard he was fighting a fierce battle with Gideon in the business world, and his company was on the verge of collapse. Isla and that man were at each other's throats. The man was obsessed with her, using all sorts of methods to harass her. She didn't have a single day of peace, let alone time to bother me. At this point, my life had finally stabilized. Every morning, I would wake up to the sun, the sound of birds, and the bustle of the city. I would suddenly feel that the world was actually a beautiful place. As for Gideon, he would still take me to the supermarket to buy groceries, and we would cook together, no matter how late. As long as he wasn't on a business trip, he would come home. There were no other women in his life, because he hated third parties. Whether his love was pure or not, whether his heart was sincere or not, it didn't matter so much anymore. To live a peaceful life, for me, was the best life.